Hi, welcome to this video on Excel functions covering the VLOOKUP function. This video was recorded in January 2021 using Excel 365. So on screen you can see I've got a list of staff members, the staff name, the office they work in, their salary, and I've got some empty space, empty data, which I want to complete. Separately, I've got an office list which shows the office information. I'm going to use a VLOOKUP to populate here this data from my office list data. So I go to my fields equals VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP accepts four parameters. The first parameter is the data we're going to use to find our other data, and in this case it's going to be the office code. So select that, press comma. Then it says I want to know what data you want me to look for, to return the data. So my range or my array is going to be this lot of data here. Then I press comma, and then it says, all right, what data do you want to return? Any of these columns I can return as long as it's in my range. So I've started at B, and I want to return the description, which is the second column. So I'm going to return the second column, and here, true or false, I'm going to put false. False is an exact match. It means if you're looking for Lon and it finds Lon, it'll return something. If it doesn't find Lon, it won't return anything. If you put true and it doesn't find Lon, it'll try and find a near enough match that Excel thinks is acceptable. So we must put false. True is quite a dangerous thing to choose. I double click my fill handle. It's populated everything and it looks right to me. It's now dynamic. So if I come into here and I change the word London, get rid of that O. If I go back to my staff list, now you can see those changes have been applied into this because it is dynamic. I'm going to put that back. I'll do another couple of examples. So let's do the postcode. Now, it's important to note that I've chosen this office code as my lookup value. When I go to my range or my array, my leftmost column in my range has got to be the column that stores the lookup value, the code, and in this case this is it. So it's got to begin with the leftmost column, which is B, because that's got the code in. Then it says, all right, what column, press comma, what column do you want to return? It's the sixth column because that's the postcode column, and false again, and there's my postcode. So if we choose for the head office, and we say I'm looking up for this code, press comma, and I want to go to here, and if you select the wrong beginning for your range, press comma, and it's the 8th column in this range, and false, it's not going to find anything because it doesn't find Lon in the leftmost column, because the leftmost column is the office manager column. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to fix that by saying start at B and get the 7th column in the range, and then it says, oh yeah, I've got you there. So with that logic, if you wanted to return the office manager to your staff list, you'd have to move it to the right of the code, because the VLOOKUP begins with the column that stores the lookup data, in this case it's B. I hope that makes sense. So another example, the last example I want to do is when you change this from false to true. So I've got salaries here, and I've got a salaries banding table here, and I've made this dynamic, so it begins at 0, and this is the average of the salaries less 1, and we've called that below average. Then this is the average, and this is the maximum salary value less 1, and we're calling that above average, and this is the maximum value, okay, and we're calling that manager. So I'm going to say equals VLOOKUP. Instead of looking up the office code, I'm looking up the salary, comma. The table I'm interested in is this table here, I to K, comma. The column I want to return is the third column, 3, comma, and then we're going to say true. So it's going to say an approximate match. And what it does is it says, all right, this is 25,000. I'm looking in this column because it's the leftmost column. 25,000, it's greater than that. but it's less than that and that, so it can't return what something that's greater than it, so it returns the step that's below it, which is below average. And you'll see that this 35 here is above average because the average is just under 34, and that's below average, so you can see that it's kind of working. Yeah. Now if I were to change this value, maybe I'll change this 40,000 to be 18,000. It's going to change all of my averages, and it suddenly changes things to be above average. So that was below average before, now it's above average because everything's dynamic, and because I'm doing this true rather than false. So it will always check against these values and see what is nearest but not greater than the lookup value. I hope that makes sense. That's the end of this video. I hope it was helpful.